It's the Rob Carson Show. Are you ready to be pod smacked? Ooh. Now, here's Rob Carson.
Here I am. This is episode number 54. 54, ladies and gentlemen. Can you believe it? Great to be here. You want to check out the Facebook page? It is Rob Carson Show. You want to check out the website? It is robcarsonshow.com. It's that simple. And on Patreon, patreon.com/Rob Carson Show, you can help support me by giving me $1 a month or $5 a month or $10 a month, whatever you think this is worth. Hopefully you think it's worth something. Quick update on the career front. I'm working on KHOW in Denver the next few days. I'm working also on KMOX in St. Louis. I will keep you abreast of what times and days I will be on. Just, again, check out the Facebook page at Rob Carson Show, or you can do a Twitter at Rob Carson. So, boy, there's a whole lot of me in there, isn't there? Unbelievable. Okay. We'll start off with a conservative commentator named Tomi Lahren. She was discovered by Glenn Beck, and she works for The Blaze, and she's been getting a lot of attention. She's a 24-year-old. And the reason why she's very popular is because she's hot and 24 years old. I'm assuming she's reasonably intelligent. But if you look at conservative women, a lot of the times, the ones that get attention are the ones who are really hot. Don't believe me? Watch Fox News. Don't believe me, right? Well, usually, there are, you can have some flexibility in your ideology, all right? A lot of liberals are not flexible, as we've seen with marches in Washington, D.C., the Women's March in Washington, D.C. It was exclusionary of people who are pro-life. They actually booted them. They didn't invite them, and then the ones that did show up, they booted them. Tomi Lahren was on The View yesterday, and she had some remarks to say about conservatism and abortion. I'll let her words do the talking and then comment right after it.
A conservative Republican and a constitutional conservative, but you also consider yourself pro-choice, which is interesting to me because 68% of conservative Republicans think that abortion should be illegal across the board.
No, I'm pro-choice, and here's why. I am a constitutional, someone that loves the Constitution. I am someone that's for limited government, and so I can't sit here and be a hypocrite and say I'm for limited government, but I think that the government should decide what women do with their bodies. I can sit here and say that as a Republican, and I can say, you know what, I'm for limited government, so stay out of my guns, and you can stay out of my body as well.
Okay. She is now sounding like a true 24-year-old. Nothing against you 24-year-olds, but I don't think she's clearly thought this through. When you talk about the conservatism is about personal responsibility, all right? Conservatism is about small government. Conservative is about keeping the government out of your life. Here's the problem. When your body has another body in it, that's the problem, okay? Because there is another person inside of you, all right? If you believe that you have certain rights, you have to believe that everyone has those rights. And I think that should extend to the unborn. I think she seriously needs to think about this because she is denying every right possible to someone who could live by ending their life before they're born. So this doesn't, I'm sorry, on this one, I'm gonna put a check mark by you there, Tammy. Because you are not conservative, all right? If you are going to have those thoughts about keeping government out of your guns and out of your body, you've got to realize that in only one of those instances, there's another body involved, another being involved. She's been suspended from a Glenn Beck's show. She will become a hero, by the way. She will become a hero of the left. She will become a hero to viewers of The View. I never understood exactly why killing a baby in your uterus is so empowering for women. I don't understand. I think it's misguided. There are a million other ways that women can be empowered without deciding thumbs up or thumbs down to the person inside their uterus. So I guess Glenn Beck was incensed after the comment, has laid her off. Blaze reporter Caitlin Schallhorn said on Twitter, even Hillary Clinton didn't call pro-life conservatives hypocrites. And you're not a hypocrite. You're not a hypocrite for being pro-life as a conservative. Again, let's listen to her comments. Here we go.
You call yourself a conservative Republican and a constitutional conservative, but you also consider yourself pro-choice, which is interesting to me because 68% of conservative Republicans think that abortion should be illegal across the board.
No, I'm pro-choice, and here's why. I am a constitutional, someone that loves the Constitution. I am someone that's for limited government, and so I can't sit here and be a hypocrite and say I'm for limited government, but I think that the government should decide what women do with their bodies. I can sit here and say that as a Republican.
I think she sounds like a dingbat there. I'm sorry, she lost all credibility with me on that. I'm not a big fan of hers anyway. I think she's eye candy. I think she's okay. But she'll become a hero. She's got to get a network gig out of it. She'll end up on MSNBC. She'll end up on maybe, who knows, filling in on The View. And then apparently she was up for Megyn Kelly's job. I don't know how you could put a 24-year-old in Megyn Kelly's job. You got to have some life experience, some years on the planet, before you can share your opinion, I think, and have any credibility whatsoever. Let's move on to some other things. Maxine Waters still on the impeach Trump bandwagon. She was on MSNBC's AM Joy, and she is already predicting that Donald Trump is going to be impeached, and she's all in and all done. This is honestly, this is bat crap lunacy. Here's Maxine Waters talking about Donald Trump's impeachment.
I don't think, when the truth comes out, that even the right-wing conservatives who are defending Trump at this point are going to be able to stand with him. They claim to be patriots, and they claim that they're more patriotic than a lot of other people. We're going to see who the real patriots are when we unveil this collusion that I believe is there. And I think in the final analysis, they're going to have to move away from him, and we will see that he will be in a position where he will meet the standards and the criteria for higher crimes and misdemeanors, and I maintain that's where impeachment comes in.
Okay. There are a lot of people who have been driven completely insane by the election of Donald Trump. There are people who have been driven literally insane. She's insane. She has no desire to work with this man, even though he was elected in November. He's been in office for 9 weeks. They're coming up with charges every other week. The Jeff Sessions thing. He supposedly lied when in his confirmation hearings. He needs to resign. Where did that go? So many people like Maxine Waters just throwing out things, hoping that the media will latch on, and they can reel them in. This is moonbat crazy. By the way, liberals across the country have been struck by nightmares and insomnia since Donald Trump won the presidency in November. Fashion designer Arian Zurcher said, "I've not slept a full night since the election." Yahoo News says she's not alone. Floridian Soredo Justiano fears deportation. "I worry that even my family members have been American citizens for generations. We will be targeted because of our surnames and our looks." Again, irrationality, probably one of the signs of mental illness. Tech industry employees are Amanda Silver, fears for refugees. "I worried about the Anne Franks of Syria, Somalia, and Yemen." Now, see, if Anne Frank was there, they'd probably kill her because she was Jewish in Syria, Somalia, and Yemen. New Jersey math teacher Lori Rodrig is afraid. "I'm afraid the Democrat process is under attack by a nationalist far-right authoritarian leader," she told Yahoo. "I'm afraid my son and nephew will be sent to war, a war I don't believe in." Trump's not a big war hawk. The lack of sleep has led a woman in Orlando, Florida, to stress eating. "I've gained the Trump 15 and I can't stop." That's Allison Slater Tate. I believe, who else was it? Said they gained some weight since Donald Trump's election. Was it Rachel Maddow? I don't remember. Anyway. Psychotherapist Donna Moss is suffering from Trump-induced nightmares. "I dreamed I was downtown New York City and it was gutted like Armageddon after 9/11. Everyone looked like zombies." She's a psychotherapist. Trump's election has Sharon Van Epps from Seattle turning to prayer. "I ask God that God will help us with this mess and show us how to help ourselves." How about this? chill the hell out and grow the F up. How about that? Okay? How about that? Just grow up. Where? I mean, listen, he was not my candidate, all right? He was my last choice. He's the president, though. And if this were anybody else, if this were Barack Obama 9 weeks in, all of the caterwauling, all of the calling for his impeachment, it would have been, Democrats would have raised holy hell. Get over it. He's going to be the president for at least 4 years, right? You don't like it? Grow the hell up. Take your binky out of your mouth and grow up. More comparisons of Donald Trump to a Nazi. There's a Donald Trump billboard with the dollar sign and swastikas on it. Karen Fiorito said she designed the billboard. Now, it's kind of funny. On the one side, you've got Donald Trump as Hitler surrounded by swastikas, 2 nuclear explosions around there as well, other hate symbols. And then on the backside, it has the message unity on it. Unbelievable. Fiorito wrote on Facebook, still awaiting the backlash, death threats, and the like. No, the left does that. Wish I had time to drive to Phoenix to see the reaction of people on the street. Okay. This whole thing, and this is like screaming racism when there is no racism. After a while, it's just going to fall on deaf ears. How many protests have we had so far since Donald Trump went in office? We had the Women's March. We had the march, the day, the protests in Washington, D.C. of his inauguration where true fascists broke out store windows, burned things, burned a limousine, among other things. Okay, you had that, and again, the Women's March, which is it was a leftist, pro-choice, pro-Hillary, anti-Trump Women's March. That's what it was all about. We had the Day Without Women that happened, a week ago. Women decided to take the day off and stay home. They did the Day Without Immigrants. None of those brought the country to a screeching halt. Yet they're doing it again. Hundreds of thousands of service workers planning an anti-Trump labor strike. Nearly 350,000 workers plan to strike President Trump's agenda on International Workers' Day, May the 1st. This is a communist holiday, by the way. More than 300,000 food chain workers. Food chain workers? I mean, okay. Food chain, okay. And 40,000 unionized service workers will walk off the job that day, according to a coalition of groups leading the strike. Multiple thousands of employees from the Service Employees International Union, SEIU, very left of center, very pro-Democrat organization, and United Service Workers West, led by David Huerta, will strike. According to Huerta, we understand that there's risk involved with that. Good. Fire their asses. But we're willing to take the risk in order to be able to move forward in this moment. While the most marginalized are in the crosshairs of this administration, we need to show this administration, Congress, and large corporate interests that our human and economic worth is more powerful than their agenda of hate and greed. Opposing Trump is not enough. We must stop him. What the hell is what's the point? What exact policy has this president imposed on people that is so devastating? What has Trump done to women? All right? Certainly nothing worse than Bill Clinton did to them. This is another unfocused, unhinged, bat crap crazy waste of time. Waste of time. Oh, this is good. PBS apparently did a little online video of Elmo getting fired from Sesame Street because PBS is about to lose a lot of its funding under the new Trump budget. Here's a little bit of the video of Elmo being fired.
Hey, what's going on?
Oh, thanks for coming in, Elmo. Does me no great joy to inform you that due to recent cuts in government funding to PBS, you are no longer employed by Sesame Street Workshop.
What? Elmo's been working at Sesame Street for 32 years. Elmo,
Yes, well, Elmo, the Trump administration is cutting all
Cut all their funding. for this crap. Cut every damn bit of their funding for this crap. Using a beloved character from Sesame Street and making it a political thing. Shame on them. Oh, by the way, Sesame Street was sold to HBO, all right? Sesame Street, the Muppets are worth hundreds of millions of dollars. Don't believe me? Have you seen any of their videos? Have you been to the shows? Whether it be on ice or just live. I've been there, Elmo Live, where they sell cheap trinkets, stupid flashlights, crap like that. You know what? Screw Sesame Street. Screw them. They are Sesame Street. The creators, the owners of the rights of Sesame Street are filthy rich. Okay, and it's not on PBS anymore. A little more from this piece of propaganda.
All arts and education funding from the new congressional budget.
But Elmo's rag just went up.
Elmo, you're gonna land on your feet. Don't worry.
What's going to happen to Elmo's
Yeah, because you're worth billions of dollars.
insurance? Elmo has pre-existing condition.
Well,
Oh, dear
you should
Lord.
apply for government health care. Well, you can. That's being gutted too.
Where is Elmo supposed to go? Elmo's
How
only
about
real
to hell?
talent is being Elmo.
Well, you could take pictures with tourists in Times Square for tips.
Huh?
I know it's not glamorous, Elmo, but
Is there anyone Elmo can
Unbelievable.
contact?
what? You mean Donald Trump?
Here we go again.
Grump? Are
Donald
there other
Grump.
monsters fired too? Cookie Monster? Tully Monster?
Yes, we let Tally and Cookie go this morning.
But what about the kids?
Oh
We
boy,
have YouTube, Elmo.
wow. This is as low as it gets.
Okay, Elmo will go bye-bye now.
One more thing. Leave the puppet.
Leave the puppet?
Okay.
Hey, let's go.
I have no words. I have no words. I work in a dog-eat-dog industry in radio, and I have to work in the, we have to make money, all right? The radio stations that I work at have to have ratings, have to make money. Right now in cities like Washington, D.C., the public broadcasting station is the number one station in the market. They have funding. They have money coming in. The NPR has a new several $100 million facility. Private industry has to pay for theirs. That's why when a lot of the times when you work at a radio station, you're working with a board. There's a soundboard in front of you. This thing could be 25 years old. Okay? When I was in Washington, D.C., working at a very large radio station, I sat in a chair that was duct taped together for 9 years. Okay? NPR gets about $455 million a year. Okay? Plus all of the begging that they do. All of the begging that they do. Okay? So not only do they get $455 million, which is more than any, I believe, more revenue than any radio company in the country makes on an annual basis. I could be wrong on that, but it's very big. And that's just for existing. Then they do the begging, then they sell the sponsorships, and they pay exorbitant salaries. Scott Simon does Weekend Edition. The last time I heard, he was making between $300,000 and $400,000 for one weekend show. I've heard some shows on NPR that are produced bi-weekly have as many as 15 to 20 producers on staff. It's time for PBS to be shoved out of the nest. There may have been a time for PBS when there were only 3 TV stations and then the PBS station. But you can get your content from anywhere, and PBS will be fine on its own. And if you're a big follower and believer of PBS, then you pay for it, because I'm tired of paying for it. Load of crap. All right. Bernie Sanders tweeted out, and I think immediately regretted tweeting out Saturday. He said, "We're living in a nation which worships wealth rather than caring for the poor. I don't think that is a nation we should be living in." Okay? Here's the problem. Sanders owns 3 homes, most recently purchasing a $600,000 lakefront property in Vermont last year. This despite being a government employee, public servant for the majority of his adult life. And by the way, he will get a complete retirement package. He'll be taken care of the rest of his life when he leaves, when he leaves government. In addition, Sanders only paid a tax rate of, are you ready for this? Now, this doesn't sound very socialistic to me. Because I believe socialists believe you should pay 65, 70% tax. He whittled his tax rate down to 13.5%. Very small rate considering that he's a relatively wealthy man compared to the rest of us. And Americans agreed. They went after him, saying things like, this is a DJ. Says, which of your 3 homes did you tweet that from? How's that $600,000 summer house working for you? Okay, Mr. 13.5% tax rate, maybe you should pay your fair share, possibly sell one of your 3 homes, give the money to charity. This is typical let them eat cake liberalism. You know, I drive in a caravan of black SUVs. You drive a crappy little unsafe car. I live in a mansion. You live in a little box house. Get one of those little, those tiny houses for you. No, it is remarkable, the hypocrisy, and they don't even see it when it's right on their face. Unreal. Okay. I wanted to share a little bit of, there's been a lot of talk about North Korea and a good deal of fear surrounding North Korea. Do I worry about North Korea nuking the United States? No. I do worry about them getting a missile off to Japan, a nearby place. They haven't perfected the technology. But this, the Un family, whoever the hell they are, they've been in power for 3 generations. They have tortured their way. They have murdered their way through 3 generations. They keep their people starving. They spend what money they do have on the military and nuclear weapons. And sooner or later, the bubble's got to burst. Secretary of State Tillerson visited the DMZ between North and South Korea on Friday, then held a joint press conference. I'm just going to let him talk and then respond. Rex Tillerson.
The U.S. and our allies have repeatedly reassured North Korea's leaders that we seek only peace, stability, and economic prosperity for Northeast Asia. As proof of our intent, America has provided $1.3 billion in assistance to North Korea since 1995. In return, North Korea has detonated nuclear weapons and dramatically increased its launches of ballistic missiles to threaten America and our allies. The U.S. commitment to our allies is unwavering. In the face of North Korea's grave and escalating global threat, it is important for me to consult with our friends and chart a path that secures the peace. Let me be very clear. The policy of strategic patience has ended. We're exploring a new range of diplomatic, security, and economic measures. All options are on the table.
Okay. North Korea, I believe, is a paper tiger. I believe that the North Korean people have been brainwashed. They've been beaten down. They've been weakened, which is what tyrants do. They don't have the strategic resources to maintain a fight. And I think they'll fall. Will they fall like when Ronald Reagan took down the Soviet Union? By using words, by using policy, without firing a single shot? Here's a little more from Secretary of State Tillerson.
All the options are on the table. Certainly, we do not want for things to get to a military conflict. We're quite clear in that in our communications. But obviously, if North Korea takes actions that threatens the South Korean forces or our own forces, then that will be met with an appropriate response. If they elevate the threat of their weapons program to a level that we believe requires action, that option is on the table. But we are hopeful that by taking these steps, and we have many, many steps we can take before we get to that point, that we hope that will persuade North Korea to take a different course of action. That is our desire.
Okay, in response, by the way, Kim Jong-un has, they put together a video that features a U.S. aircraft carrier being nuked, essentially. These are the tactics that dictators use. They did the same thing in Iran. Periodically, you'll see a fantasy video where they're destroying the United States with the mushroom cloud, et cetera. It's a load of crap. I think talking tough is the first thing we have to do. And I don't think that North Korea has the wherewithal to sustain any sort of a fight. I know they got China on their side, but I don't think China wants to mess with this, to be quite honest. We'll see. My dream would be that regime just falls like a paper tiger. And we pressure them, and they just fall. It's about time that North Korea were free. So hundreds of Marines who were members of a private Facebook page that shared nude photos of servicewomen have been identified. And this is despicable. This is dishonorable. I know plenty of Marines. I know a lot of them are young guys. But this is despicable and dishonorable to do this to your fellow soldiers. These are women who are fellow soldiers. And to degrade them by sharing pictures and states of undress, also posting where they are and what their rank is. It's absolutely despicable, and they need to be punished severely. I'm not saying there has to be a discharge here, but there has to be severe and swift punishment for these guys. So apparently, there were disseminated thousands of nude photos of Marine service women as well as female veterans and civilians, according to the Marine Corps Times. Marines United has been shut down. That was the original site, and they would, you could friend it and then see naked pictures of your fellow Marines. Again, sickening. Apparently prompted members of the defunct page to found Marines United 2.0, which was also terminated. The Naval Criminal Investigative Service is trying to determine whether the members of the Facebook group Marines United shared the photos without the consent of those photographed. And by the way, just on the side here, the women who are doing this, don't take these photos. Don't allow them to be taken. Honestly, it is a gigantic mistake to do that. All right? It's just, what do you need that for? Why do you need that? Now there's a Facebook group called Marines United 3.0. Its logo features the famous Marine landing of Iwo Jima. Instead of an American flag, the banner they carry reads nudes. The flag is also being raised on a silhouette of a woman's body. Sickening. Dishonorable. Disgusting. Curtis Evans, the division chief for criminal investigation for NCIS, told reporters that he expects more victims will come forward as the probe continues. California Congresswoman is proposing a bill that would allow the military to prosecute service members who disseminate revealing photos that a reasonable person would know or understand are meant to remain private and who do so without permission. Officials said earlier this week at least 17 news sites were being reviewed and that as many as 30,000 images were cataloged on the site, although many were duplicates. And by the way, of the 30,000 listed members of Marines United, 500 of them, 500 of the 30,000 listed members of Marines United have viewed the photographs. So, honestly, I mean, just isn't there enough porn out there? You don't have enough. I mean, honestly, I've heard it's all over the place. Just saying. Finally, non-political story today. Jared Fogle was beaten in prison. The man who reportedly attacked him said he has no regrets for pummeling the convicted pedophile. Steve Nigg said he attacked Fogle on January 2016 and explained the reason behind the attack. And this is a quote from the guy. Jared is their hero. This guy said of the pedophiles in the Colorado prison where Fogle is serving nearly a 16-year sentence, not enough. You would not believe how arrogant Jared was. He hired bodyguards, and the other child molesters looked at him as if he were a god. He said he has no regrets. I think if I were father of one of his victims, I'd beat his ass too. Okay, that's going to do it for episode number 54 of the podcast. Again, check out the Facebook page, Rob Carson Show, the new website, which is robcarsonshow.com. And if you get a chance to support me on Patreon, patreon.com/Rob Carson Show. In the meantime, have a great time. We'll see you. Have a great day, I should say, and we'll see you for episode number 55 very soon.
Thanks for listening to The Rob Carson Show. Friend him on Facebook at Carson Show, on Twitter at Rob Carson, and on Instagram. I think Facebook and Twitter are enough for now. We'll see you soon.